Welcome back to the Fundamentals Podcast, where we talk all things related to sports from a fan's perspective. What's going on, man?
Hey, man. Yeah, good. Good,
Yeah,
man. Just
good.
doing good as well.
Yeah.
I mean, as good as I could do, you know.
Yeah. I feel you.
Given the team circumstances. But other than that,
yeah. Hey, y'all were competitive last night.
Yeah, man, whatever, man.
Y'all were competitive last night, though.
We've been technically competitive all year.
Hey, y'all had if you had a kicker, y'all might have beaten Detroit last night.
Well, if we had a kicker, and if Brock Purdy would sometimes learn how to throw that ball a little bit down more, instead of always throwing high, we wouldn't have had that pick. That first pick was terrible.
The first pick was
throwing
bad.
high. I'm like, why you keep throwing so high? Just throw it to the receiver.
That's been he was doing that last year too.
Yeah, that's been my only issue with him, because I see what he tries to do that, and it has helped and worked in certain circumstances, but sometimes it's just like, bro, if you just keep that mug, you know what I'm saying, chest high to the receiver, or if you go and put it high, don't throw it so high, you know what I'm saying, to where they gotta jump and always try to make a spectacular grab.
Right.
So after those two turnovers, it's like, well, there it is.
Yeah, it was kind of a wrap. Hey, did you see John Lynch's reaction after Amon St. Brown scored that touchdown? He was wide open. I don't know if you saw.
When he was in the end zone by himself.
Yeah. How do you get that far open? Like him, of all people, by himself in the end zone, of all people.
I never understand, bro. You know, sometimes I don't understand broken. I understand broken coverages. You know,
right?
With certain circumstances, like an underneath route. Okay, I could understand. You know, two people try to take the top, whatever. But sometimes, bro, when you got the superstar receiver that's naked, wide open. Out of all people, why isn't he the one you guarding? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I seen that play when he caught that ball on a little route underneath, and it's just like, first of all, y'all shouldn't even been playing so deep off anyway. They ain't got they're in the red zone.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, why are they playing off like that in the red zone?
I don't understand it. I never understand it, bro. I've seen so many broken coverages like that, and I just don't understand why it's just happening. And then I'd be like, why is it my squad that's always doing these broken coverages? Where's the other team doing it? You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
It's a struggle,
but
man.
We was competitive, but I felt like this. I wouldn't even have my starters playing. I understand y'all want to play, but let's just rest up and
you're ready to shut it down. So next weekend, what should they just? Because you see,
you're not playing for anything,
right? You see, Dallas is pretty much doing that. You know, Dallas been doing that. By the way, did you see what Micah Parsons said after they got beat by Philly?
Nope.
Okay. Every week I'm like, man, this guy.
You really shouldn't have anything to say. You got your butt whooped by Philly. It's time. Hey, shut up. Don't even say nothing.
So here's the deal. They interviewed him after the game, and he said, outside of 5 big plays, we actually played pretty well. You mean all the touchdowns they scored outside of those plays?
Like I said, you get beat as bad as you did, you might as well shut up. Outside of 5 big plays, we played well.
Yeah.
5 big plays. They put 41 points on the board. You had 7.
Yeah.
So where else did you play well at? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Where did you play well at? When we talk about the first quarter, because the rest of the game looked pretty bad, if you ask me. You know.
Next year, because this is the end of the year. This is the last day of the year. Next year, I am going to implement sound bites for some of the things that are said, so that the audience has context. You know, but when he said that, I was thinking, 5 big plays. You mean every touchdown that they scored?
It must
outside
be.
of giving those out. You know,
must be, because 5 big touchdowns. You know, my math is correct. That's 35 points right there. So
right, exactly. So
So
I'm
basically, outside the big touchdowns they had,
yeah.
we played well.
We,
What?
yeah. So I don't know if he trolls for people to tune in to his show. That might be it. That's a
Gotta be,
possibility.
gotta
But
be.
I just when I saw that this morning, I was like, huh. You know what I mean? Things that make you go, right? Um,
Reasons
Alabama.
why people hate Cowboys.
This is why. That's why people, because all their whole platform is based on trolling.
They
Like
could
it's
have
all
lost. They could have lost 190-0. He probably would have been like, "Well, shoot, they didn't get 200 points. We played really good."
good. Right? Exactly. Well, at least we didn't give up 200.
Okay,
Right.
yeah, that's a
Exactly.
consolation prize.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. They're deactivating people and putting them. You know what I mean? Like
That's what we
they're
should do.
yeah.
I believe we should do that too because Purdy got injured at the end of the game. He
Game.
couldn't even
Yeah.
get. So it's just like this is what you get. I mean, I like the fact that they try to stay competitive. I was
Right.
enjoying the game for the most part.
Yeah.
Till of
Yeah.
course
Yeah.
we start turning the ball over, and it just happens to be us turning the ball
Mm-hmm.
over, and happens to be our kicker that's missing 3 field goals, and I'm just like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, we need a new kicker.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's not gonna work. It's not
Yeah.
gonna work.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this. The Rams are in. Should we rest against Seattle next weekend? Or
Y'all
should we
in?
play
Are
our start?
y'all are in no matter what happens in
We're
that game?
in. We're in no matter what. When by Buffalo winning, Minnesota winning, and Washington winning, that put us in. That we're locked in.
No, okay.
So Seattle's eliminated, and we're in for sure. Based on strength of schedule.
Um,
I'm on this. I'm on the side of rest because I don't think Matthew Stafford is healthy. I think he's banged up, and I think he needs some rest. We haven't had a bye week since week 5. I think that was week
true.
5. Yeah. So, I'm on the side of resting next weekend. If it were your team, what
Play half a game.
play half a game?
Yeah,
First half?
I'll give them a first half, and then second half. No matter what the score looks like, rest
Yeah.
up. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you want to keep a rhythm. You know what I'm
That
saying?
makes sense.
And I believe that. I mean, I've never really been a big fan of like if you're not playing for anything at all,
Yeah.
then I'm okay with resting. You know what I'm saying? But
But
like
going
when it
into the
comes when you're going
playoffs.
into the playoffs, sometimes playing with the rhythm is a little bit better. Like you know how they always say that you want that first round bye so you can rest up, which
Yeah.
I can understand that too. But there's a problem with that can be had is the fact that a team that is constantly in flow, you know what I'm saying? You got a bye week. You're resting and healing, but this other team may have played last week, but y'all play in a sport where y'all play every week anyway.
Yeah.
You can keep momentum going and still be hot. You know what I'm saying? People still fresh leg,
That
or not
makes
fresh
sense.
legs, but you're lubed up, you're ready to rock and roll, and y'all just coming
Yeah.
off of momentum. So now it's like, okay, we can really come and do it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the team that's done rest for two
Your
weeks,
timing is still there.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's a slippery slope. I would personally play my starters. Maybe I could say first quarter, kind of like how
Okay.
preseason.
Yeah.
Do a
Yeah.
first quarter, maybe 2 quarters.
Yeah.
Halftime, and then evaluate how they feel. And sometimes the players don't really want to rest. You know what I'm saying?
That
Like
too. That
they just
too.
want to play ball. And
That
I
too. Yeah.
understand that too. Now, some people might be playing ball because, hey, if I don't get these stats, my contract, all those type of things. But some players just want to go out there and actually play. Hey,
Yeah.
I love the game. I just want to be out on the field regardless of
Right.
whatever. So, but me personally, I would do a half.
I
Then
have. Yeah.
check their post, see how they feel, and then like, okay, well, if we're losing at the halftime, we're gonna shut it down. If we're winning and we're winning big, of course, we're definitely gonna shut it down. But if
Yeah.
y'all want to go out there and still be competitive a little bit, if y'all I'll leave it up to the players on that one, but I would definitely, me personally as a coach, I would probably encourage them. Hey, look, halftime, we're just gonna go ahead and shut it down, get y'all ready for the next game.
I'm with that. I would like Matthew Stafford to just not play. I want Matthew. I don't. He's
Yeah.
not. There's he plays through injuries. He's
Mm-hmm.
obviously playing through it. An injury.
Mm-hmm.
The good thing is we have a young defense. I say play our defense. They're very young. I don't have any issues with them playing.
Right.
I'm with the offense playing a half. Matthew Stafford has the experience, and I believe, I'm cool with Matthew Stafford not playing.
And that
In
was
the
the other
game.
thing. Thinking about that. I would say that's another thing that you can kind of do is just sit certain players.
Yeah. Just
Your
sit.
quarterback, especially. Hey, you might want to just take this one out and heal up, especially if you know they banged up.
Yeah,
Hey, we're gonna just go ahead and sit you for a game,
yeah.
and
Rest up.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's always a risk, but it's a risk practicing. How many people you done seen tore an ACL or something in practice? You know what I'm saying? So
that's true. That is a fact. I mean that happens. So you just I agree with you though. It's up to the players. You play it by ear, what they want to do, how
hmm
they want to do it. In terms of playing, because we're talking about playing for teams that have already made the playoffs. If you are the coach of Philly and Saquon Barkley has a chance next week to break the record against his old team, what are we doing? That's
that's
tough,
a
right?
good one.
Yeah,
Like I said, I'm kind of like almost
it's
at the
up to the
same point
player.
of like, hey, what do you want to do? Do you want to
Yeah,
go for this? I'm gonna give him. I'll be like, look, I give you a half.
yeah, to
See
do
what
it.
you can do in that first half. If it's
Yeah,
not looking like we moving much with the running game or whatever, hey, let's just go ahead. We'll go
because
ahead and just shut this down and make sure that you stay healthy. Because
yeah,
Saquon, he can get injured. He's known to have some injuries,
injuries. Yeah.
so
Well,
you
here's
kind of
the
got to
thing,
protect him.
and New York. Their whole thing is we're not going to let him get it against us, right?
Exactly.
Like their whole thing is if he plays, their whole thing is we don't want him to get it against us, and we're gonna pull out all the stops. Like
Facts.
they're out; they have nothing to lose.
Nothing to
Pass,
lose, nothing to
pass the
gain.
ball, pass the
Yeah.
ball, but we're stopping the run, right? So,
Yep.
yeah, that one's very tricky. But I was interested in what you thought about that because I think
Yeah.
I'd be like, yo, go break this against your old team. Like the pettiness of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The pettiness of it.
Yeah. I'll give him that first half. See what he can do.
See what he can do.
To be
Yeah,
honest, that's where I probably would be at. Get him that first half. Hey, we gonna see what we can do in this first half.
yeah,
If you are busting they butt this first half,
yeah,
and it like let's just say halftime comes around, you need 20 to 30 more yards or something like that. Oh man, is without a doubt we gonna go ahead and we're
yeah.
gonna
Go
go
ahead
ahead
and
and
get
get
them
this.
20-30.
Now,
Yeah,
come halftime and you sitting there, you still got he needs 100 and something yards, and you still got
yank them
80,
out.
80. You know what I'm saying? 87 more yards because you ain't getting no yards rushing or whatever because they zero in on you.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, I'm not gonna risk it. Just go and come on out. Come on, sit on the
Yeah,
bench. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
we tried, but let's wrap it up because I'd rather you be playing next week than being injured and not
Mm-hmm.
playing at all. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Did you happen to watch that Sunday night game, man, between Atlanta and Washington?
Yes, I watched most of it. I missed the overtime though.
Okay, that was a hell of a game, man.
Yeah,
That was a
yeah.
hell of a game.
Looked like it.
Jaden Daniels, man, the clear front runner for Rookie of the Year, like no
I agree.
question, clear front runner for Rookie of the Year. I know Bo Nix was kind of in the conversation, but Jaden Daniels is the clear guy. Now that's
I
nothing
agree.
because Bo Nix has had a solid rookie.
And
He's
he
turned
balled
into
out too.
something. Yeah, he
He
balled
balled
out
out
against
too.
Cincinnati. That
Just
was a
like
good.
neighbors. Neighbors been balling out with
Yeah,
the sorry
Malik
Giants, but
Neighbors. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Um,
And
But
old boy
man,
from
like,
the Raiders, they tied in.
oh yeah, oh yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even really see the buzz on him till later in the year,
Mm-hmm.
and like it was kind of unexpected.
Under the radar, unexpected, because
Mm-hmm.
you didn't talk about the Raiders much anyway because they
What's
weren't
to talk
good.
about? Yeah, what's
Yeah,
to talk about?
yeah, for real.
What is to
So
talk about?
yeah, boy, but he's been balling out too. But I give it hands down to Jaden
Jaden
Daniels.
Daniels.
I
Yeah,
mean the
yeah,
things he did
definitely.
with the way he has he had that RG3 effect with Washington.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean they're doing better than RG3, but in that
yeah.
Washington team, but they took a team that wasn't that good and brought them to the
He's a better
playoffs.
he's a better passer than RG3.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he's a
yeah.
better passer. And that's not to take anything. RG3, I believe, would say the same thing. Honestly, man, Alabama lost to Michigan today.
Hmm.
Bro, did you think Alabama's downfall would happen this fast?
Yes and no. The only reason why I say yes and no because sometimes they say you want to. Sometimes you gotta cut the head off the snake.
Yeah,
They ain't got Nick Saban no more.
Nick
That
Saban
same
got out of there, and it's different.
yeah, coaching
It's
matters.
Coaching
Well,
does
but
matter. That's why they
coaching
get paid what
matters.
they get
What?
paid.
Yeah, exactly. Coaching matters, and you actually see that within that. You seen it this year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
They haven't been
absolutely.
the same Alabama once Nick Saban left. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that the last couple of years they've been like the since the NIL,
Yeah,
Alabama ain't been as dominant as they have been. Georgia has been pretty dominant for the most part,
yeah,
but Alabama hasn't been that same exact dominance that they've been for years before
yeah. Very
NIL
true.
came around.
Very
So
true.
now you take away the playing fields are getting a little more even in some regards. You know what I'm saying? Even though Michigan has always been they've always been a tough team regardless. Michigan, Ohio State, those those
Yeah,
those teams have always not historically have been great teams
yeah,
for the most
yeah,
part anyway.
yeah,
But I mean, it just goes to show. But even Michigan, you lost Harbaugh. Look what they became. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
They had a
So
downfall as well.
yeah. So losing Saban has been the biggest hit for them. So it's not fully surprising that they are where they're at. I still expected them to be good, which they still are a decently good team, but I expected a downfall, at least some drop off. I more expected maybe 2 to 3 losses, not 4 or 5, which they only
I
got 4. But
Yeah, I said two, but on that third one, I was like, I was a little surprised. But
some of the teams that they lost to kind of
well, yeah, that's a big part in it too. Like the teams that they've lost to. Like I definitely didn't expect them to lose to Michigan. Like I definitely did not see that.
for.
I'm surprised about that. That caught me off guard. Not gonna lie.
I
Um,
agree.
I just didn't. I saw a taper off, right? But I
Hmm.
didn't see it like it's nosediving, right? And it's who knows what might happen next year? Maybe they bounce back, but what I saw this year was a nosedive. Like it
Yeah, comparison.
totally different. Yeah,
And
totally
it's
different.
so bad because the drop off looks so much worse because you've seen where they've been at for years.
For
You know what I'm saying?
years,
So when you're
yes,
seeing that high elevation that they've been playing at for the last whatever year you want to throw out,
right.
when it's and then you see 4 losses. Hold up, they
Yeah,
didn't even get double digit wins this year.
yeah.
It kind of gives you that,
It's so
huh?
because people are so accustomed to them being
Hmm.
that team because it's gone on for so long.
Yep, yep.
And here's the thing too, and I'm referring to college football because I know Nick Saban did his stint with Miami in the NFL in terms of head coach. But here's the thing. Here's the thing too. Uh, Nick Saban has clearly showed that he is a great college football coach. Like
Oh yeah.
what has happened to Alabama this season solidifies it because everywhere he's went, they've won, right?
Oh
They've
yeah.
won a national championship,
Mm-hmm.
and they've been consistent. And then he leaves, then there's a drop off.
Man,
Like that shows you.
it's not even just Alabama, but you see when he was at LSU,
LSU, same
he won a
thing.
natty there too. So it's like,
Yeah,
we know what he could do on the college level. Now the NFL, different story, but
yeah,
college level, man, yeah, it just goes to show how excellent of a college coach he is. Not
he
only
is
that, but
right.
good at recruiting
Right,
and
recruiting.
getting the
Yeah.
people to play for him and stuff like that. That's yeah, it's definitely shows his skill set.
Right. Yeah, it's different. I see like there's very few coaches that come from college and are successful in the NFL. Like you have to have a specific kind of like we saw Pete Carroll has been able to do it. Like coaches can do it, right? Like it's been shown to be done. Pete Carroll won a national championship and a Super Bowl, right?
Yep.
Okay, but as a head coach, but it's two very different things in my opinion. I mean, because when you look at coaches in college, it's you're trying to build and inspire young men and help them grow, and they're still learning,
Yeah.
and then by the time these players get to the NFL, you have to have a certain level of communication with them. But on top of that, like we know that coaches don't deal with all the players directly. Like I watched the interview. I'm not sure if you're familiar with a Big Job, but he does like all these
Yeah.
skits.
Yeah.
And he used to play for Cal. And when he played for Cal, like even back when Aaron Rodgers was at Cal.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But yeah, but he was explaining that which most people know, the coaches you may not even sometimes you may not even see the head coach. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you would see him, but you might go a couple practices and he ain't really said nothing to you. Like you know what I mean? Like because that's why you have all these different coaches. Like he
Makes
might
sense.
not if you're the third string, he probably doesn't even know your name, right? Like
That's a fact.
yeah,
That's a fact.
and that's on every level, in terms like at least with college and NFL, right?
Yeah.
But there's a certain level of communication, and then when you think about like Nick Saban has been able to recruit so well because he's been for one the draft classes that Alabama's been able to have, like
Yeah.
he put so many players in the NFL. So
Yes, he
many.
does.
Like,
Alabama
they,
does.
yeah, Alabama does, and he is obviously he gives them a certain work ethic for them to get themselves in there. I won't even say he does it, but he built something where they have the understanding of what to do to get in. Right? I can teach you how to get in, but you just listen to what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
And that's something that is for Alabama fans is, I mean, they're I don't think they expected for things to drop off like that.
Oh,
But
no.
that's something that Alabama fans they're so comfortable with, and they've gotten so spoiled that I just it's like gosh, what's going on, and it's honestly it's changing the dynamic. In reality, it's changing the dynamic of college football because now we're also with the NIL and transfer portal. Things are already changing anyway, but I don't think we're gonna see any true powerhouses anymore. Like not one school.
Yeah, I can. Well, you probably won't see it being as dominant. I mean, I think you're still gonna see the powerhouses, but you're not gonna see nothing like we've been watching. Like every year, you expected Alabama to come out and
Like you knew that they were
yeah,
gonna
you
win.
knew they were
Yeah.
gonna either be in the championship or something. Like I don't think you're gonna see that.
Yeah.
I don't think I think those days of just one team being completely just overwhelming for the
Hmm.
college football landscape. I do believe those days are gone, and I think that's the beauty of the NIL. You know, being able
Yeah.
to have everybody have pretty much have literally a hand in the pot. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So there's a good things to it. You know, and that makes
And
it
there's
great. It
right.
spreads out the talent. Of course, the bad thing is it's all about the money. So people,
Hmm.
I ain't playing here, so I can go over here and be bought to go over here and go over there. But I do like the fact that talent is more widespread.
Right.
So, you know, you'll see things like how like BYU smashed Colorado the other day. You know what I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Like
Right.
it's
Right.
like you'll see things to where like certain teams where you're just looking like I didn't know these boys was that nice. Now you're still gonna get your beat downs like Penn State and SMU. That
Yeah. Yeah.
type of
Yeah.
stuff is gonna still happen. I mean, you're gonna definitely still get that because NIL is still fresh.
Yeah.
But give it a few more years, you're gonna be talking about like I believe like your North Carolinas
Hmm.
with Belichick being there and people want to actually go to play with Belichick, being able to
Yeah.
do that. Um, People still just moving all the way across the country because now it's like I don't have to go to this big school to be able to get exposure,
Yeah.
and so I believe that it definitely is gonna change the landscape. But you're gonna still see your powerhouse teams be powerhouse teams, but it ain't gonna
I,
be no dominance. It's not gonna be no
I
100% dominance.
I agree. My only issue is like like with the transfer portal and all of that um is what's happening is when these players enter the transfer portal, they have to register for that other school by a certain time.
Hmm.
And so some of them aren't playing the bowl games because of that.
Yeah.
And that has to be fixed because I feel like until you're done with this season, you're not done till the bowl game's over, right? And we've paid you to be on this team to the end of at least to the
Yeah.
end of the season. But for you to opt out of the bowl game, well, now you have the money. Are you going to give some of the money back? Because you're not playing in the bowl game.
Yeah, yeah. I think the problem with some of that lies in just like what we kind of, I guess because we kind of forget the old aspect of, yeah, they're playing football, but we forget that they're playing football for a school. So technically, they're going to school. Their
Yeah,
semester is already over with.
over.
So you kind of got to get yourself out of
Yeah,
the school and into another school by a certain time because
time.
the next semester is coming. Spring semester is about to be here
Yep.
and you're trying to go to a new school.
Yeah.
So you kind of gotta move in that way, and it makes it hard to try to just do that and then I'll register to this school, but I'm still playing football over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it needs to be something that needs to be a little more cleaned up, but that's just the biggest problem is just the fact that you're dealing with the school semester being over with,
Mm-hmm.
and football doesn't necessarily fall right on that. I mean, it kind of does, but the bowl games kind of don't. They're in their
Right.
little winter breaks. You know, most of the
Mm-hmm.
time is winter break, and you just got some people that's still there. So
Right.
yeah, it's hard. It is very hard. College football playoffs kind of make it a little even more harder. You know what I'm saying? But I do
Yeah.
agree. I do see that, and I
Yeah.
agree. One thing I don't like the more than that is the fact that when some of them opt out because they entered the draft.
Oh yeah. 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 Yeah.
I don't
Cam.
like that.
So what
Cam
did you think
Ward.
about Cam Ward at
I think
halftime?
that's I think that's BS, bro. Like just go you done played half the game. This is
He
gonna be
just
your
wanted to
last
break the
year.
record. He just wanted to break the record.
But it's like it's your last year.
Well,
Just play out the rest of the game. First of all, I understand you want to break the record, but play for your teammates, man. Like what is up with
yeah.
this? Like
Yeah.
you're supposed to be playing for each other. At least that's how I felt. That's just a team sport. You
Yeah.
can't make it without them. They can't make it without you. Therefore, you should play the whole game. Get out
I'm
there,
with you.
play there, and play your last game with your fellas.
I agree with you. I agree with that. I saw where Michael Arvin said, "Well, it's the Pop-Tart Bowl. Nonetheless, it's a bowl game, and it's a team game, and
Yeah.
it's your team, and you played the first half. You played the
Yeah.
first half for personal purposes. You wanted to just break the record, and you didn't care about anything else. Or maybe he did. I don't know, but I can't sit here and say he didn't care about anything else. All I know is he didn't care about playing that second half. And
Exactly.
to me, that's you. You left your
It makes you.
teammates. You left your
Angry.
teammates. You hung them out to dry.
Yeah.
You know,
They could have
yeah.
won that. Like, I understand that, yeah, it's the Pop-Tart Bowl. But who's to say they're going to get another bowl game?
Yeah,
Sometimes, and then on top of that, some of those seniors, that's their last game they're going to play.
ever. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So
a lot of
so
them ain't going to the NFL.
Exactly. That's the last game that they got to play. Now, yeah,
Yeah.
they played it, but I want to win.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Where is that at? Like, you come out
Yeah.
here just to break your own a record. Whoop-de-doo, your name's in the record book, but we got an L at the end of this thing.
yeah.
And then what's on your? Or another thing is people gonna look at you. It's like, well, you quit on your team. Technically, that's what it looks like.
That's
You
what it
quit
looks
on your
like,
team.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
played the first half, and then you decide you don't want to play no more because you done already did what you came to accomplish. That's a selfish look. And none of these people are really paying attention that, scouts watch things like that. Like,
They
you
do.
know what a scout's going to probably do? Put on that little board, quit on team middle of the game.
Yeah.
Or, X, Y, and Z, whatever reason it is.
Yeah.
Like, if you are going to play the game. If you're not
Right.
going to play, sit down. Let the coach
Right.
decide whether they want to take you out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. It's
Yeah.
like,
And also, it was bad timing because we've just watched with the 49ers, I don't want to go in because I didn't start type thing. I'm not playing at halftime. Like, it hangs a cloud over you.
Yeah.
Like, there's a cloud over him for that right now.
Yep.
So, I agree. It was in my opinion, it's in poor taste. I get Michael Irvin's going to defend him, being that it's
Oh, yeah.
Miami.
Yeah, he's
the
from the U.
Hurricanes. Yeah, he's from
what
the
I'm saying?
U. You know what I mean? The Miami Hurricanes. And he's a Cam Ward fan. Get it. You're going to defend it.
I mean, hey, I like Cam Ward's game too.
I do
That
too.
don't
but
don't
that-
excuse it.
it
Don't
don't ex-
excuse
that's a
the behavior.
cloud.
It don't excuse that. Like, man, play the game or don't play the game. You know,
Yeah.
that's it. I
That's-
can understand if you don't want to play the game because you don't want to get hurt for your draft stock. But if you're gonna play half of it, this is different than what we were talking about, like with the NFL sitting down the last game and you got another game coming up. Like, if they had another game coming up or something like that, and he did something and he just sat out the rest, I wouldn't have as big of a problem. But this is the final game of the season. Yeah, you might not have nothing to play for, but other people are. They auditioning,
Yeah.
or
yeah.
they're out there trying to get something that they never going to get anymore. They might not get a bowl
Yeah,
game
right.
again. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You don't know. So it's just like, play for your teammates, man. That's what it's supposed to be about. Like, you play for
Yeah.
your teammates. You
Yeah.
gotta set your ego aside sometimes, and some of these people don't want to set their own ego aside, and it's just
I get it.
yeah, y'all hurting your team, you're just hurting your team at the long run. I mean, I know he was a transfer, so really he ain't have no big ties to none of them players like
Miami,
that.
yeah.
So maybe that's some of the things, like, but other than that, just play for them boys, man. You're supposed to
get
play
it.
for the love for the game anyway, not for your own stats.
I get it. I get it. We're gonna switch gears a little bit. Talk about some basketball, man.
All right.
First thing I want to ask you: Sacramento firing Mike Brown.
Mike Brown, yeah.
Yeah, Mike Brown. That was weird to me. Like,
Stupid.
that was just a weird firing to me. Like, I don't quite get it. I don't got nothing for it. I think it's dumb. Yeah, like,
The
that
only-
was just weird.
that's
Because
about as-
given what he was able to do with the team last year, build them up.
Not just last year, the year before, prior
the year
to that.
before that, yeah.
Yeah.
They've been
The
climbing.
last 2 years, they've been pretty solid. Yeah, they took a little dip last year over the year prior to that. And then this year, they're taking another dip. But
Yeah, I think they pulled the trigger too early, but this this solidifies why Sacramento has been so bad over the years.
Yep.
You talk about ownership and things like that. It was just a bad firing, man, and here's the thing, man. I get it. This is a business. I'm understanding of all of that, but in every sport, I mean this for football, I mean this for baseball, I mean this for basketball, in every sport. Coaches should get a minimum, and I don't know if it's somewhat. I get fans want right now. They want overnight success, and that kind of forces the GMs and the owners to want overnight success.
Yep.
The thing is, in sports, that's not reality.
Nope.
It's not reality, right?
Not at all. Especially when you're coming from the dumps.
When you're coming from the dumps. So these coaches should at least get 3 years. At least. To be able to turn things around.
Yeah. I agree.
Like, and I don't get it. It was just a bad. The man.
And he's been having
two good years. He putting you on the map again because nobody checking for Sacramento.
Yep.
Nobody was checking for the Sacramento Kings, not since Vlade Divac.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Chris Webber and them boys.
Yeah, Chris Webber, Vlade Divac and them. You know, so he's putting you on. You know, he comes there to coach, getting the team solidified and putting their name back on up there. And then in the middle, not even halfway through the season. You didn't even give them to the All-Star break.
It's bad. But you see this stuff all the time when it comes to the NBA. Like, even J.B. Bickerstaff, what he did with Cleveland.
Yeah.
They let him go. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. Adrian Griffin. You know what I'm saying? He had a winning record. They let him go for Doc Rivers. Yeah. It's just like it's so stupid. Only other reason I can even think for people to make quick fires like that to me would be is if you thought the coach lost the locker room. You know,
yeah, but the players don't seem to feel that way.
Exactly. So, but that would be the only other reason why I can understand getting rid of somebody earlier is if they lost the locker room or something like that. You've seen the turmoil on the court. Sometimes the pieces and the moves that you make just don't mesh well. I understand them going out and getting DeMar DeRozan, but sometimes the pieces just don't mess around. Like some
Very
people
true.
you have just don't work with the system that they're running, and I mean that's just it. Like you get a DeMar DeRozan, you lose a Harrison Barnes who has played a good role with that team.
True.
But now you don't have that no more. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Sometimes those chemistries right there, you might think, he ain't DeMar DeRozan. Yes, he's an upgrade from Harrison Barnes, definitely. But you don't know what kind of chemistry Barnes brought to that team versus what DeRozan brings.
DeMar DeRozan brought.
You know, and it's just like, it's just certain things like that are game changers. It changes the way the locker room is. It changes the way the team has to play. Because they're trying to appease with another person that's coming in as a scorer. Barnes didn't need the ball. DeRozan, he needs the ball. You know what I'm saying? He's one of those players, not saying that he's selfish, it's just he's a scorer. You know?
Right.
So you gotta have the right pieces. And they've had the right pieces for years. But once you make one or two moves, sometimes one or two moves might be the detriment to your team. You know what I'm saying? And that's just, I mean, look at a prime example. Look at the Lakers when they went after Russell Westbrook. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
You do all these things, and it sets you back for a couple of years now. Yeah. Now you ain't progressing, you ain't doing nothing, and then what happens? They want to blame one player. You shouldn't have made that move in the first place.
Yeah.
So that's what I think. Like, I just think that it just probably just didn't mesh well. Look at Philly. They're doing the same. Philly's doing the same thing. You go out and you pick up a Paul George, did you really need a Paul George? It sounds
Nope.
good, it looks good on paper, but
Yeah,
you
sometimes that just like there's certain things that I think like the GM matters, right? And
hmm
and moves obviously you would like to think that the coaches and the GMs get together on moves. Obviously, the GM, in my opinion, should be saying, "Who do you think fits with the style of play you want to run?"
Yep.
Now, I don't know about anybody else, but if I'm a head coach, I'm not getting someone who, especially in the middle of the season, I'm not getting someone that doesn't fit my style of play. Like, I don't want to
Exactly.
convert you. If you get, like, I'm like, can he play the style of basketball I need him to play? Like, in my opinion, when the Lakers went out and got Russell Westbrook, I'm like, that's not going to work, though. Like,
It doesn't.
that's
Yeah.
that's not that ain't gonna work because you got LeBron and you got. Hold on, how is that
It
gonna
doesn't.
fit with LeBron and AD?
Yeah. It
You
makes no
know,
sense.
right? And so certain moves just shouldn't
hmm
be made. Like,
Yeah.
given I don't care what it looks like on paper. There's certain moves that just shouldn't be made.
And it just that's the way it is. Like, just for example, if your team is playing is predicated on moving the ball, everybody getting touches, you know what I'm saying? Everybody we dealing with this offense that moves the ball, but then I go get an ISO scorer.
Yeah,
I just broke my
we
team chemistry because that
right.
person is going to at some point in time, yeah, it looks good. Okay, I got this person that can create his own shot. You know,
Yeah,
we could use that, but do you
right.
need that?
Do
You know what
you
I'm
need
saying? Yeah,
that?
you
Yeah,
could use that, but do you actually need it? Because once you
right.
get it, and then you seeing how he goes from taking what y'all normally do to breaking a
Mm-hmm.
play, and now he's isoing when y'all need to move the ball. You start
Mm-hmm.
seeing the change in your team, and that messes with chemistry, son, and that messes with the way the dynamic of teams run.
In my opinion, a great example is I'm gonna tell you this. I think now I know Milwaukee's fixed it and they've gotten it together, but
hmm
I think early on Chris Paul would have been a better fit for Milwaukee over Damian Lillard
This is a true. I agree.
because you have to look at how they play. Because when you got a Chris Middleton, you got Lopez, you got Greek, um,
hmm
Takupo. Um, when you got them, Chris Paul is a facilitator.
Yep.
That ain't so much Damian Lillard style, right?
Yeah.
To be able to, but Chris Paul is like pass first, shot second,
Yeah.
and unless it's late in the game and I'm hot.
Yeah.
But Chris Paul is very pass first, get the open guy, put people in positions to get open, to take the perimeter shot, or to be able to do do the pick and rolls, right? Like
hmm
he has that, and Damian Lillard is very much like I'm on the perimeter, ISO me. If I need to drive, I'll drive. I'm gonna pull up for one, kind of
Yeah.
deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and that's the example. You got to understand the personnel and what you're working
That
with.
that's why Milwaukee works so well with the Drew Holiday versus
Bingo.
what they're doing with a Dame Lillard because Drew Holiday is a not saying Dame Lillard is a selfish player. I don't feel like he's selfish, but he's a scoring guard. You know, if
Yeah.
you score first, he's gonna facilitate next. Not saying he can't facilitate, but we already know Dame he's there to get buckets.
Yeah.
Drew Holiday can give you 20, but he's gonna also bring you another means. He's not gonna be your primary or secondary scorer for most games. He's your third, four. He might give you 20, 15, but he's gonna give you a good defense. He's gonna move the ball a little bit. He's
Yeah.
not looking to take a shot, but he's looking to kind of run an offense. So he's
Right.
kind of one of those you could just plug into an offense and get them to roll.
Right.
Damian Lillard is one that you got to plug in and actually run an offense through him,
Right.
kind of like that. So Yeah, it's just the style play. Like Chris Paul, like you said, it would have been great to have him there, because they would
Yeah.
have ran. He would have ran the offense, got people open looks, open shots, and then look for his shot last. And then, of course, he's a mid-range killer. So
Yeah. Oh yeah.
when he
Absolutely.
start getting that mid-range and he get hot, it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like he's not looking to score first. So it's just the chemistry that and Chris Paul's a pest on defense.
Yeah.
He
He
might
is.
not be the greatest defender like he is good as he used to be back in the day, but he's always hard nosed, pestering players on defense all the time. Damian Lillard, he's not the best
Not.
defender.
Yeah. Not
You
a
know what I'm
not a huge
saying?
fan of defense.
Exactly. So it's not saying that he can't play it, but we know he's a lot. His game is more offense than defense.
Right.
Way more. It's more of a liability defensively. So it's just like you taking things that you need that kept y'all rolling, and you done dissected it out. And
Yeah.
now you got what they got now. Not only that, but you also took a coach that was apparently working with his scheme, and you bring in somebody in the middle of the season.
Yeah. And it's
Now,
not
in the middle of the
exactly.
season, you expect them to learn a whole new system. Come on,
Yeah.
man. You can't do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And going back to Chris Paul, I want to shine light on Chris Paul as much as because we don't know if this is going to be his last year or not. I don't think so. I think he's got a couple more in him. But one of the things I want to bring up about Chris Paul is everywhere he has gone, he has elevated the people around him have gotten better. Everywhere he has
Yes.
gone.
Look
I
at the
don't care
Spurs
about the
now.
people that hate him. I know people that I've seen interviews where people say he's dirty or he's messed up. I don't know any of that. What I do know is what I see as a fan, and Chris Paul has elevated no matter where he's been, he has
Oh yeah.
elevated everybody around him.
Every team that
No,
he's went
look,
to, he's done
Victor
turned
Wimba,
sad teams
Victor
to playoffs
Wimbayama's
teams.
Victor Wimbayama's numbers has on offense and defense have gotten better.
Yeah. Now I expected him to grow anyway, but
He was gonna
not
grow
just that
regardless.
though. The thing about it is not just that though. The team's play
It's
overall
overall.
has
Yep.
been better.
Yep.
That they've been without Pop for a while.
Yeah, they
You know
have.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because of, the stroke he had, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Get well soon, Pop. I
Yeah.
love him
Get
as a
well soon.
coach. He's one
Yeah.
of my favorite coaches of all time. But
Mm-hmm.
Chris Paul's an extension of that. You
Yeah.
know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah.
Hey, he's going to hold you accountable. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? That's
Yeah,
what
he
they
will.
need. Leadership. That's what people don't
Leadership.
understand. He's
Yeah.
bringing certain type of leadership. Now, whether you like him or not, that's irrelevant. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? When it comes to a team, can he make you better? And he has done that with a lot of teams. When he was first with Charlotte,
Mm-hmm.
when New Orleans first came into the business, he got drafted there. They weren't a good team. They ended up
Team.
becoming a playoff team.
Yeah.
Then they shift gears, ship him off. He went to Los Angeles. We know
Yeah.
what
The Clippers. Yeah.
we know what they've been, and they became a playoff powerhouse team.
Yep.
He just has
Consistent.
the biggest knock is he can't stay healthy in the playoffs.
In the play.
But
Yeah. Always in the playoffs.
but
Always in the playoffs.
the one thing though that was the biggest thing, if people don't really understand how good Chris Paul really is, take that OKC roster.
Oh yeah.
Nobody expected
No,
them to make the playoffs.
playoffs. Nobody.
Nobody. And when they
Nobody.
made it, they was doing damage in that first round. They
Yep.
were a problem. Nobody expected that.
Yep.
They was writing them off. He's just going to a look. He took a non-playoff team and made it a playoff team.
Yep.
That man he's a genius on the court, bro.
He's done it. Houston elevated their play.
Yes.
The Clippers elevated them. Pelicans elevated them. OKC elevated them. Even San Antonio. Like, is it a shot in the dark? They very well could make. You know what I
The
mean?
play in or something.
Yeah, the play in or something.
I think the
It's-
only spot I would say you probably would say he didn't have the biggest impact on was maybe in Golden State.
Yeah.
That year was probably the only year he really didn't have a big definite impact or change the culture or anything, but they were so established in what they do
Yeah,
already.
that culture is just that's a different because they're already up here in terms of the culture and what they had been able to do, and so it just wasn't like there was nowhere for him to fit. Like there's nothing
Yeah.
for me to elevate. It's already up here, right? I
Yeah.
can't. What am I gonna tell them?
And it
Like,
just
oh,
looked kind
they're
of weird. Then it was just kind of weird. You put Chris Paul in with a Steph Curry, and you already played with these small ball lineups and stuff like that. And it's like
yeah,
he really didn't have a fit for that team.
right.
But any other team outside of that, bro, he's done elevated them, and the Spurs look pretty. They look solid this year. They've been
They
close
do.
and competitive. A lot better looking this year than they were last year with
They
them.
played a great game on that Christmas against New
Oh
York. That
yeah,
was such an entertaining
yeah.
game. I enjoyed the heck out of
Hey,
that game, man.
hey, hey, Christmas was nice.
That was a great
Christmas
all of
was
those
nice.
games.
I will
All
say
of those games.
Christmas. They held their own on Christmas.
All
I
those
didn't
games
like.
were really good. That
I
lineup was
didn't
good.
like the whole Philly and I remember texting you that
Philly
the
and
Philly
Boston.
and Boston. I watched the first. Bro, when I kid you not, when I watched the first 30 seconds of the game,
Yes.
I'm watching at least 7, 8 3-pointers taken by
Right.
each team.
Right.
It was crazy. I'm sitting there like, um, okay, both teams just out the blue, y'all just shooting up shots. It was
Just
something
jump.
like literally like I think it was like it was 12 shots that was taken total by both teams, or it was something like 12 shots or whatever, and literally it was like literally 10 out of those 12 shots were all 3-pointers.
Threes. Yeah, that's crazy.
Then at
That's
the end of the
crazy. The
game,
first.
when I
Yeah.
text you those in
Yeah.
stats,
You
them
text
boys
me.
they over half of shots for Boston were 3-point shots.
Yeah.
And then Philly, almost half of their shots. It was like really only like 8 shots less
Yeah.
than all of their half of their shots being 3-point shots. I was like, this is crazy, man.
That was the one game. That was the one I didn't watch. That was the one I
Yeah.
didn't watch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just kind of moved on doing other things, but
Yeah.
after a while, and then I just caught the tail end, and I was like, oh, Philly won. I think I went
Yeah.
to go do something or whatever. I just kind of stopped watching after a while, but overall though, still ended up being a good game. Just looking at the end results of was like 118 to 114 close game.
Right.
You know, the New York and San Antonio was a great game, close
Yeah.
game.
Dallas and the Dallas
The
and
Dallas and
Minnesota.
Minnesota game looked like it was about to be a blowout, and then Dallas
And
came
then Dallas
all the
fought
way
back.
back,
Yeah.
made it a close game. The Lakers and Golden State ended
Golden
up being
State,
close,
that
a
was a fun
competitive
game.
game all day
Yeah.
long. Only one I didn't watch was the Denver and
Phoenix.
Phoenix. Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't get
yeah.
chance to catch that one.
I watched that one till halftime, I think it was, and I just didn't make it through that one. But
Yeah,
but yeah, man,
they
I
held their
think
own.
I think and I had this conversation a couple days ago, man. Like, I think that if you're an NBA fan, you're gonna prefer to watch basketball on Christmas Day. But there's
Yes,
just so many. Football just has more viewers in general.
yes, it does.
NFL nationwide, there's just more fans of football than
Hmm.
basketball.
Yeah,
But if
and
you're an NBA fan like me, and I'm an NFL fan too, but I on Christmas Day I
it's
prefer
watching basketball.
watching basketball.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
You
I mean,
prefer it because for one, you accustomed of habits, man. Like we grew up watching basketball on Christmas.
day, yeah,
I
oh
mean, you
yeah,
just grow up with it, so why you want to keep switching it up? You know what I'm saying? I'm sure
yeah.
NFL got their viewership, but like I watched it. I watched partial of. Matter of fact, I didn't even watch the I
I
didn't
didn't
watch
watch
any
any
of
of
the
the
football games.
I didn't watch any of the Kansas City Pittsburgh game, and both games were blowouts. Both NFL games were blowouts.
That's boring. I didn't want to watch
Yeah,
that. 30 to
I,
2. Come on,
yeah.
man.
I watched that game. I was specifically just kind of watching Lamar Jackson, and I watched the halftime show. But the reality is on Christmas Day, it just wasn't a great product on the field.
Yeah, it's not. It's not.
Mm.
First of all, first of all, the fact that they were sitting there playing literally like 4 days later after they just played it like not like less than 4 days.
In
It's just like
itself.
3 days later.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man, y'all killing me with this. It was like four, something like that.
Yeah,
But it's
4
and
days.
and the sad part about it is you were playing with the same group of teams.
Yeah. Yeah.
We watched Kansas City, Houston, Ravens, and Steelers play Saturday,
Yep.
and then we watched them
And
play
then those
again
same
on
teams
Wednesday.
played on Wednesday.
Man, them
Yep.
boys tired out there, bro. Nah, I didn't like that. I didn't like that
Yeah.
at all. I didn't see any of the NFL games. I didn't watch either one of them. I just watched basketball, and that was what I was
Gotcha.
gonna do anyway. That was what I
Yeah,
was
that's
gonna do.
that was it. Yeah, like I've been super vocal about the fact that I love NBA basketball on Christmas Day, and that's what I look forward to. Period. Like period. There's no
Yes,
no other discussion.
it's not gonna.
That's just what it is.
There's one thing that I do agree with LeBron what he said. NFL, the NBA, Christmas is for the NBA, and I
Exactly.
1000% agree with that.
Exactly.
Christmas is for the NBA, and I don't want to see
Exactly.
the NFL on Christmas Day. Now,
Exactly.
just so happens, on some happenstance, if the NFL and Christmas fall on a Sunday, I
Yeah.
might be inclined to watch it because Sunday is a day of football.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I might watch something. But
I'm going back
it's
and
still,
forth though.
I'm still gonna be flipping. Exactly, I'm gonna be flipping back and forth.
Yeah.
So yeah, but in the NBA, I give them 1,000. I give them props. They held it down. The games were competitive. So they were interesting games, and it made it fun to watch, and I enjoyed it.
Now, given that it is the end of the year, it's the last day of the year. What has been your most exciting sports moment this year? Do you have one? Can you think of one? Most exciting.
I was trying to
sports
think
moment.
about that when you brought that out.
Um,
I really don't think I have one. It would have
I,
been the 49ers winning the Super Bowl, but that didn't happen.
that
So,
didn't happen.
hey,
Almost.
big Will.
Almost.
Not too much. I ain't need you to co-sign, throw in, add on, ad lib. Not too much. All right, not too much. Okay, let's go ahead, chill out. I know y'all in the playoffs and all that
Yeah.
stuff, and you hype,
I'm
not too
hype.
much.
I'm hype. We in. I don't think I have. I don't think I have one either. If I had to pick one, and my uncle Dave is not going to like this because he's a huge Notre Dame fan, and as he explains to me, when you're a kid growing up in Illinois, you're a Notre Dame fan, and you hate Michigan. You hate Michigan, but I thought it was pretty exciting what Michigan was able to do last year, given all the stuff that was going on with Harbaugh, with
Oh
the cheating stuff,
yeah,
and all of that.
yeah.
Even that kind of adversity, for them to still
Yeah.
go through all of that and win, I thought that was pretty dope. Again, my apologies, Uncle Dave, but I thought that was pretty dope because I don't have one solid moment, but I thought that was cool. That was special.
Yeah, I think if I was to try to really truly sit down and pick one, I would say it would be the women's college basketball.
Yeah,
Their March
that was good too.
Madness
Oh yeah,
was
that's a
it
great
was
pick.
immaculate. I would
Great
say
pick.
that was immaculate.
Yeah,
Um,
that was
yeah,
fun.
that's what I would have to go with. That was I would say that was probably the most entertaining watch of the year for me on that. It's just,
Yeah,
and I never
yeah.
been and you could say Caitlin Clark has done it, or I don't even think it's really
Angel
that.
Reese.
I think
Yeah,
just the amount of talent that has
that's
been
coming out.
on that has been on display, and the product and the
Hmm.
brand of women's college basketball.
Yeah.
Man, what I watched every single. I was watching a lot of those games, like a lot of those, especially that Final Four and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Juju Watkins, she's a
Yeah.
beast out there.
Oh,
Like
yes.
just the elevation
Yes.
of women's college basketball over the last couple of years, and this
Yeah.
year was really something great to watch. As far as the March Madness, I actually tuned in to quite a bit of games on March Madness
Yeah.
for women's
Yeah.
college basketball.
Well, you know, one of the things was there was. Here's the thing. I've on here have said so many times, like, I don't want to pit Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark. I think they're both great in their own right at what they
Right?
do at their positions, right?
Yes.
I I I want to make it more about the dynamic when you think about the Final Four, and specifically with South Carolina, LSU, and
Mm-hmm.
Iowa. They did so good at marketing the feud,
Yeah.
right? And that got us really engaged, right?
Yeah.
And it was and even the year before that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Even the year before that, right? With LSU winning,
Mm-hmm.
you know, when you look at marketing, that's what it's kind of about. Like they did exactly what they were supposed to do.
Yeah.
What we haven't really seen in men's college basketball. A
That's a true
certain level
statement.
a certain level of marketing and narratives and stories, and because I complain about certain push narratives, but also at the same time they're kind of needed
Some
in
are
a
healthy.
sense.
Yeah, some are
Some are
healthy for the
healthy.
game.
Some
Like,
are healthy.
and I think that's some of the things that we lost in the sport of basketball. Rivalries.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The just the essence of rivalries aren't there no more. Like with a lot of, especially in the NBA, there's no real true rivalries that you used to deal with. Like back in the day when you used to watch the Chicago
Bulls
Bulls play
Knicks.
the Knicks, you knew it
Mm-hmm.
was something there. Like the
Yeah.
one thing that I like to see right now currently is when Trey Young is playing in New York.
Oh
You
yeah.
know what I'm
He's
saying? Because
he's
he's,
putting on a show and he's
he's
antagonizing them,
exactly. So
and
he's trying to
he's yeah.
bring, yeah, he's being the most hated man in New York right now. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
but you missed those, and I think that's exactly what you said. The women's college basketball, they pit the rivalry of Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, um, you know, Caitlin Clark, South Carolina. You
Yeah.
know what she did. Then the next year, South Carolina comes back. It's like a rivalry aspect that they had, and they gravitated to that, and
Mm-hmm.
it blew up the
Right.
world of women's college basketball. And but more so is just the rivalries that you have. Like you're gonna always have your basic school versus school rivalries, but like there ain't
Duke
no
versus North
real,
Carolina.
yeah, Duke versus North Carolina. But
That's
where's
not
the
even the
Magic
same.
Johnson, Larry Bird?
Oh yeah, or that.
Stuff
Yeah.
like that. Where are
Yeah.
those rivalries? Like
Yeah.
what they tried to do on Christmas was make a rivalry out of LeBron James and Steph Curry. But for whatever reason, I don't feel that rivalry connection. You know what I'm saying?
It's not. It's
I
not
see
there.
what they're trying to pit, and how Steph and LeBron, this, that, and the
Mm-hmm.
third. If Steph wasn't there, LeBron would have had X amount of more rings or whatever. But there is no. I don't feel that true rivalry there. Like I gotta tune in to watch LeBron and Steph play each other. I don't
Right.
really
Yeah. It's
feel
not.
that
It's not there.
because for one, they're not actually playing for the same teams. Like Steph is, LeBron's on a
Yeah.
whole different team now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
It
he's
would have been
playing.
different if he was still in
If he
Cleveland.
was still in Cleveland, yes, I could, because then you could be like Cleveland, Golden
Yeah.
State,
You think about the
LeBron,
finals.
Curry,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But you don't get that same type of feeling there. You
Right.
don't get the Pacers, Knicks. yeah, or the old
Yeah.
school like Reggie Miller don't like the Knicks, and you don't get
Yeah.
none of that
The,
feeling
the
there.
Reggie Miller doing that to Spike Lee.
Exactly. Like you don't
Yeah,
get the
yeah.
old school. You don't get no real rivalries, and I think that would help the NBA if they had the rivalries, or in college basketball as well. Like,
No.
or you got to have somebody that's so dynamic that comes out. Like you remember when Trey Young was playing college?
Yeah.
It was like, boy,
It
this
was
boy is
everybody was
something
tuned in.
different.
Yeah. Even
Tuned
even with
in.
Zion Williamson.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Zion, Trey Young, Blake
Yeah.
Griffin when he was there.
When he
You
was
had your
when he was
KDs.
Oklahoma, yeah.
When you seen JJ Redick out there shooting, going crazy.
Yep.
Even people like Adam Morrison, he ain't had no NBA career, but he was a college name, like a
Name, yeah.
beast in college.
Yep.
But you
Yep.
knew about a story. You knew, okay, I want to see him and him. You see a Gonzaga Duke, and you got your Adam Morrison and JJ Redick, two top
Right.
scoring players in the league going at it.
Right.
It's like there's something there that I can. Let me tune in.
Yeah.
I gotta see.
Something
I
to
gotta
engage.
watch.
Something
Yeah,
engaging. Yeah.
even like people like Jimmy Fredette.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
exactly. That's a great one. I forgot about
Yeah.
him. Yeah.
So it's like those college players that used to be so standoutish. I'm pretty sure they're there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's not polarizing as far as media capturing it. It's not something that's just standing out to where people are like, "Oh my God, I gotta watch this player." It's just kind of
Right.
like, "Oh, this person's good."
Yeah. It's
But
it's,
our
it's,
last
it's like
draft,
it's,
name one person in the last draft, the last draft that came out, other than Bronny James, who really didn't have a college career, that we knew about,
yeah. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
we really had a big following.
Cool.
Like you really
Our,
couldn't say this is a consensus number one pick. Before
mhm.
then, I could say Paulo Banchero was there.
Yeah.
I watched him play at Duke, and I knew he was about to be a beast. And
Yeah.
I knew that was number one pick right there. But
Yeah.
last year, you're like, who are these guys?
Yeah. And be honest with you, like, you know, as a Laker guy, um, I didn't watch a lot of college basketball last year. So when we got Connect, I had to be like, let me go look at some stuff. Now I had heard about him, a little
Yeah,
bit,
yeah.
but I didn't have nothing to my eyes didn't have nothing. I hadn't really watched.
Yeah, you didn't
Like I
really
just heard
pay
the
attention.
name.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and so I had to go back and watch. And something that I want to do this year is like focus a little bit more on college basketball. But
It's hard.
last year was like the first year that I was just like almost kind of just tuned out on college basketball. Like I was like,
It's
even with the Final Four, I was like, I'm watching, but I ain't. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It's
yeah, yeah.
on, but I
It's
ain't too
hard.
tuned in.
It's hard because college kind of falls on the college basketball has always been kind of weird because it falls in the middle of all the other sports going on.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of college football, getting ready to be middle to the end of college football. It's in the middle of NBA. It's in the middle of it's the start of the NBA season, then cranked up. In the middle of the NFL season, and it kind of gets lost in the shuffle because it's literally like the little brother of
Yeah.
all of them, and it's just
Until
like
March.
until March. Then March is like, oh, the brackets come out, and then people trying to
Yeah.
really follow things. But I feel exactly what you because you can lose interest in college basketball real easy because
Easy.
there's
Yeah.
so many games that go on there, so many NBA games. The NBA is a bigger brand, and then you're still watching NFL games. You ain't worried about college, and college don't really. They have the little beginning tournaments that kind of be crunk. You know what I'm saying? That be
Yeah.
kind of jumping like the whole
Yeah.
ACC Big Ten challenge. Those
Oh
be
yeah,
some good
yeah.
games and stuff like that. But college really don't start getting real nitty gritty until you start getting to the
March Madness,
March Madness is the biggest one, and then
and
the
then the
conference play.
conference play. Yeah.
Once conference play, like I almost don't never miss a Duke North Carolina game if I know they're playing. Once I see
Oh
them on
yeah. I
there,
don't.
oh, let
Yeah.
me tune in. You know
Yeah.
what I'm
Let me
saying?
tune
Duke
in.
North Carolina, I'm gonna tune into that. Give
Yeah.
me, any type of teams like that. Yeah,
I'm
but
watching. Yeah.
throughout the whole year, like I haven't watched. I watched maybe. I'm a North Carolina fan. I watched maybe probably 5 minutes of a North Carolina game this year.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
I've watched Baylor a couple times, and I've watched UT a couple times.
Yeah, I'll catch them if it's on, and it just happened to be the only thing on TV or something, or if I know that they're gonna be playing, and I'm like, okay, I
Yeah,
really want to see this game, I'll watch it. But a lot of times I forget about college basketball for the most part. It
right.
does become a lost art, but then when March Madness turns up, it turns up.
Yeah, it does. It does turn up. Do you have y'all must have forgot for this segment, for this episode? Or are
You
we
know,
coming up with one on the fly?
let's come up with one on the fly. I mean, I didn't really have one. I mean, I kind of thought about one today, but it's
Who'd you
not
think
really an
about?
old player. But I was watching a clip, Jamal Crawford.
Oh yeah, man. His handles crazy.
But see, I don't think people forgot about Jamal Crawford. So it's kind of
I
like,
don't think so.
so it's
You
not
know
one of
what?
those.
I don't. I would say people. I
Well,
would
I
say
don't think he
he's
was
got
that big on people's radar in the first place.
exactly. I
He had
think
some
he was
nice
kind of
moves.
one of those underrated players, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not that they forgot about him. It's just that he wasn't never up
Elevated
there,
that big, yeah.
elevated
But
that
he was a
big.
bucket.
Oh yeah,
He was a
oh yeah,
bucket.
Jamal
He
Crawford.
was a bucket. You don't get that many six man awards being
Oh yeah, yeah he you man. I'm surprised at how many people like just don't understand how great of a dribbler he was. Like he has
bro,
probably some of the best
man,
handles. Like
ever.
he's top four in
He
terms of
gotta be.
handles.
He gotta
He's
be.
yeah, in
The
terms of
bag, the
handles and
bag
bag,
he had was crazy. You talk about people like
crazy.
Kyrie. The bag that Jamal Crawford had,
Yeah. Because every time they speak about Kyrie, I be like, "You ever saw Jamal Crawford?"
man, for real, like
Yeah. You ever look
stupid,
at? Yeah. You ever look
stupid,
at Jamal Crawford?
bro,
Yeah.
and one handles, stupid out the
Oh,
gates.
nuts. Yeah.
I was
Nah.
watching
Yeah.
and what just made me just think about it was just I was watching an interview. You know, it had Jeff Teague, and he was talking
Okay.
about how when he came to Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Jeff T was first in the league or whatever. You know, he said he was like, young, hating, boasting, all cocky and all
Yeah.
this stuff. And he was wondering, he's like, man, he's played a couple preseason games and he was just like, yeah, I'm better than him type junk.
Yeah.
And then he said, but then he played one game and he just decided to get serious. And he said, he don't miss.
Nah. Yeah.
He was like, he said, then I understood the difference in, you know,
Yeah.
their games and why he was as dope as he was. He said, man, he don't miss.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
No. He definitely walking bucket had the handles.
yes,
Was going to spark the team coming if he was
and
coming out the bench,
unselfish,
sparking unselfish.
unselfish.
Unselfish too.
He didn't,
Yeah.
he didn't have he wasn't no person that like I don't want to come off the bench. I'm here to help any way I could.
Yeah.
He come in
Anywhere
there
I
and get
could. Yeah.
20 off the bench, easy. It
Yeah.
would have been easy for him. I mean,
Yeah.
he literally should have been a starter. Let's
Yeah.
just keep it a buck. He should have been
Yeah.
starting in the NBA
Yeah.
every year. Because I swear, I promise you, he could have put up 27 points easily if he
Oh
really
yeah.
wanted to. He could have been a
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah,
With more
yeah,
minutes, absolutely.
yes, yes,
Yeah. With more minutes, absolutely. I agree with that. He definitely was somebody that I encourage people to go back and look. If you don't remember, like
yeah. And
go back and watch.
he ain't that old,
Nah,
but
he ain't.
definitely take a little bit, go back and watch some of his games, man. The man he's a highlight reel.
Yeah,
He's
he
gonna give you
is.
some highlights out there.
Yeah, he will. And here's the thing, you like you said, he ain't that old. It ain't been that long. But you got to remember the world we live in. Most people's brains, their memory is like a goldfish,
Yeah,
and so people forget very quickly. Just how you know what I mean, and that's why I encourage people to go back and look. Like I try to, I try to cleanse my palate with Jordan highlights every once in a while when I've watched a
yeah.
bad basketball game. I'm like, let me go cleanse my palate with some Jordan highlights, some Isaiah Thomas highlights, some Magic Johnson highlights, some Kobe highlights. Those are usually my go-to. Akeem Olajuwon.
Oh man,
Those are, especially when I want to see good footwork in the paint.
bro, bro,
When I want to see some good footwork in the
bro.
paint,
Don't get me started.
give me a good Akeem Olajuwon
Bro, I'm gonna
highlight
say
reel.
this. I'm gonna say this. If you one of y'all must have forgot, he's about the only Hall of Famer that I'm gonna sit here and be like, folks must have really forgot how dope Hakeem Olajuwon really was.
Had to.
Because I'm sitting here looking at
Dream?
it. Like, when you talk about top 10, like, of all-time players, a lot of times he doesn't show up on that list or, anything like that. If he does, of course, he's always, like, at the very bottom. You got your Shaqs, you got your Kareems, you got your Wilts. That's always high. Even Bill Russell hits the high parts. And I've been looking at that list, and I'd be like, dang, so y'all probably saying he's, like, top 15. I feel you. But in my book, my mind, the person that I seen on the court that dominated
Top
Shaq,
5 for me.
dominated Shaq, dominated Ewing. Any center of that era, if it wasn't Jordan that won a championship, he has two when Jordan wasn't there.
There, yep.
The only person that probably was the only team that probably did scare the Bulls would have been the Rockets at that
The
time.
Rockets, yep.
Hakeem Olajuwon was a freaking monster, and everybody doesn't. And guess what? He's the only person in that '84 draft that I think that if you put anybody, I don't think anybody probably should have been above Jordan anyway.
Right.
But if you had to pick one, the person that did go number one, Hakeem Olajuwon.
Yeah.
And he fulfilled those shoes. That man, top 10 in like almost every statistical category. I think he's like top 15 in scoring, but he's like top 10 in steals or something like that in blocks. He's like 1 or 2 or 3 in blocks. He's up in like the top 15 and like rebounds and assists. I mean, the man is like killing the game.
And think about this. He played center, right?
Yes.
Guards and small forwards would go to him to
Footwork.
develop good footwork for they 17 footers.
Yes. The
For
man was
for footwork. For footwork. He was a center.
a center, bruh. You would think, hey, I go to Jordan or something. They go to the damn Kareem. That dream shake,
Yeah.
man. When Shaq, I would never forget when Shaq. The Shaq sat there and made that he commented on him, and he was just like, "Oh, that's a good." He said he gave Hakeem a couple of elbows. He said, "Good elbow, big fella." And then he said he came down court and hit him with that. He couldn't do nothing with him.
Yeah.
Shaquille O'Neal. We're not talking about old Shaq. We're talking about young.
We're talking about
young,
young,
more
prime.
agile Shaquille O'Neal could not do nothing. We're talking
Yeah.
about Patrick
Orlando
Ewing
Magic Shaq.
could not do nothing.
Yep.
That spin move. Oh boy, the sweet spin move to that little fadeaway jumper. Oh man, the dream shaking to that little fadeaway that mid range pull up. I miss that basketball, bro. I miss it.
The good days. Reminiscing. The good days.
If I was to say, I'm just going to keep it a buck. I understand people love Kareem, but if I didn't see Kareem, I could see him in highlights.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm never going to sit there. But you talk about unstoppable moves. Skyhook, Jordan's fadeaway, that dream shake, you couldn't stop it.
Yeah, those
But
are tough. Yeah.
from my eyes, I'm an 80s baby, y'all, so, hey, don't kill me for it. But in my eyes, from what I've seen out of the center position, Kareem is my favorite, my all-time. He's, to me, the all-time greatest center from what I've watched.
Hakeem.
Hakeem.
Yeah,
Hakeem, sorry.
yeah.
I keep doing that. Hakeem is my all-time favorite center, and I feel like the greatest center that played the game from my own eyes. Overall, I give it to Kareem. I mean, just stats and everything that Kareem's done. When I go back and I can look at the highlights of what Kareem and how dominant he was, I give it to Kareem all day. So if you was to tell me who's the best center, the greatest center of all time, I'm going to say Kareem. Hakeem is number 2. But
Yeah.
if you say who's my all-time favorite center of all time,
Hakeem.
it's Hakeem Olajuwon.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love watching Hakeem play.
People know he's in my top 5.
Man,
People
both
know
sides
he's
of
in
the
my top
ball.
5.
Both
Yeah.
sides of the ball. Come
Yeah.
on, man.
I mean, high, like top
Yes.
on both
Yes.
sides of the ball.
We're not talking about he just got blocked shots. No,
But
he's up there in steals.
but you have to remember that was an era where you had to be good on both sides of the ball.
Yes.
If you wanted to play, you had to be
There
good on
was
both
no
sides of the ball.
zone defense.
That's why Mark Jackson could have a bunch of assists, was a great facilitator and a great defender.
Yes.
You had to be able to do them, both of them.
Yes. But the craziest part is just, I mean, you can't. The resume isn't. How you gonna be in top 5 blocks and then like be top 10 in steals of all time
At
a center position?
At center. Again, I can't stress that enough. He was doing that at center. Exactly.
And they talk about this is a skill position league now. There's more skill in the league now. Come on, man. I'm telling you right now. You put Hakeem Olajuwon in this league right now, he's cooking everybody.
Yeah.
He's cooking everybody. They can't play. They're not playing defense. He's cooking.
Yeah.
Embiid's getting cooked.
Yeah.
I mean, Embiid cooks everybody right now as it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's cooking Embiid.
Yeah.
And probably shutting them down on the other side for the most part. I mean, I ain't gonna sit here and cap and be like, he's gonna be locked down and
Right.
No, Embiid's still gonna get his buckets. I'm pretty sure of it because great offense is gonna always beat great defense, 9 times out of 10. But he's cooking Jokic. He's cooking them boys, man. They don't have centers nowadays, so he's cooking.
No, he's cooking them. They don't understand that. They don't understand.
Yeah,
Man.
Part 2, greatest of all time. Y'all must have forgot. If it ever becomes a segment, go ahead watch Hakeem Olajuwon highlights. Just do yourself a favor. Enjoy the beauty.
Watch his highlights.
Enjoy what the post game really was about.
Exactly.
Matter of fact, just go do that anyway. If you are a basketball fan and you want to see some real basketball, yes, go try to watch some post game, some post play in the 90s or whenever. Man, another person that was dope in the post, Kevin McHale.
Oh, we forget about Kevin McHale.
Bro.
Hey, next week we're gonna Kevin McHale next week.
Okay,
we'll talk to y'all about that.
Yeah, we already
next
got you.
Week,
you know who it is.
Kevin McHale. We're gonna talk about it. Go ahead and watch the highlights first, and then we'll discuss it next week.
He couldn't jump. He couldn't jump over a curve, but that boy was so sick in the damn post. Okay.
He was.
Let's keep it going.
All right. As always, y'all. I appreciate you. Hey,
yes, sir.
I think I think it's a college football game on right now. Who's playing?
Probably one night right now. I think so. I know college football playoffs is tomorrow.
Yeah. No, there's a game on tonight. I think it is. I might be wrong.
So I know Texas plays tomorrow.
Texas plays tomorrow. Let's see. Because I was going to ask you if maybe you want to do a quick segment over the college football playoffs on Friday if you got some time.
Oh, yeah. We can do that.
Okay.
All right. We can do
that. We'll be back with episode Friday to talk some of the college football stuff and some of the games. But yeah, other than that, we're on the regular schedule for everything else next Tuesday. Thank y'all for sitting with us, chopping it up with us, and
appreciate y'all.
Appreciate it. Peace out.
All right now. Peace.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. 2025.